Hi, everybody. Welcome to Weekend Chat. I'm Ana Maria Montero.
And I'm Tanya Koenig. And AM, this week you organized a special guest for us.
Yes, we did. As we talked about last week, I reached out to an old friend of mine who is now also working on the hit show Money Heist, and we're going to be talking to him a little bit later. But first, Tanya, tell me, what was a highlight for you this week?
So one of the stories or one of the highlights was I spoke to a few Swiss digital influencers and how they're using their reach on Instagram and TikTok to actually raise awareness to stay home during these times. One of the influencers I spoke to was Xenia Tchoumi. She used to live in Switzerland and was known for participating in the Miss Switzerland concours, but meanwhile, she's really built her own digital empire. She's also worked for JP Morgan, so it's not only about looking pretty. She really also has this business career that she's striving for. And there was something interesting that she said about this whole crisis. So let's take a listen.
I'm very aware that it's going to be a moment of readjustment, and it's a good moment for everybody to think about, what you're doing currently and what you can do in the future. Obviously, cut costs and readapt. In times of crisis, it's obviously very Darwinian, is survival of the fittest. But even for us influencers, it's an extremely tough market, and a lot of my colleagues are struggling a lot. So all you can do is try to resist, help others, and reinvent yourself.
And of course, if you want to find out more about the other influencers, Sarah Leutenecker or Steven Epprecht, that also interviewed, then head over to cnnmoney.ch to watch that short video. So that was one of my highlights. What about you, Ana Maria?
For me, it was actually to talk to the winners of the Code versus Code 19 hackathon that just happened. We talked about it on one of our recent episodes. And they had designed basically what you can do is you can cough into an application where you can cough into your phone. And by the sound of your cough, they can determine whether or not you are COVID-19 positive. Now, they're still very much at the beginning, so they still have to go through clinical trials. But they are collecting coughs. So if you're up for it, Detect Now is the name of the application, and you can cough and help build their algorithm so they can get to their clinical trials faster and be able to actually put that into operation. I mean, how cool is that, right? You cough into your phone, and then from the sound of the cough, it can determine if you're positive or something. It's really. And now, as promised, joining us, Enrique Arce. He plays Arturo Roman on La Casa de Papel, otherwise known as Money Heist. So Enrique, thank you so much for joining us. It's such a pleasure to see you. This amazing blockbuster Money Heist that is done so well. I mean, it's still #1 here in Switzerland on Netflix, you should know.
Well, it is #1 in every country that Netflix operates, in every single one of them. And not only that, I think we surpassed, I have the graphics, somebody sent it today to the chat that we have from all the actors, and we've surpassed Game of Thrones as the most watched show.
No way.
So that's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, that is quite an accomplishment.
I think we're right now, I think it's the most watched show. It's the most watched show I think right now is the most watched show in history in any language.
Why do you think that is? What about this series is making it so popular?
It definitely was top 10. The third season opened up with 30-some million views. Before that, it was Stranger Things for Netflix. The third season had amount 18 million. Then we kind of doubled that. But the thing with this variable of the confinement, it just propelled the numbers through outer space. And I think right now, we're going from, it was something between 75 and 1,000 and 100 million views in the first weekend. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And I think it has to do with everything that we are seeing in the world today. A lot of anti-system protests in Chile. I was there shooting when I lived there, and people were protesting in the streets with that iconography of the Dali mask and the red suit, and I think it's a lot of elements that make it I think it was just the right time in history to bring this show.
Thinking of all the success and about your character, Arturo,
Yeah.
you're really in deep trouble. And I would say, you know, as a viewer, your persona is not the most liked. There are also some memes going around. How do you
No,
deal with
it's
that?
awful. The two first seasons, there was a reason, a very powerful reason for Arturo to be there. He almost had the secuestradores, the how do you call that? The kidnappers,
Kidnapper.
against the ropes, and he was such a pain in the butt. What they and then the third season as well, the way he goes in trying to find his 5 minutes of glory and go back to see his the love of his life and try to know his kid, all that stuff. I think was justified. When I saw the fourth season, I was like, guys, I'm not sure about this. I don't think I think you're killing the character. I don't think there's a way to save him. But I love the season. I think the season was freaking amazing. It was great. I think they did an amazing job, and so far it's my favorite season. But I wasn't quite happy with my character, to be honest with you. I'm non-filter. I always speak my mind.
But tell us, where are you? Where you are speaking to us from where now during the
Well,
lockdown?
I was in LA until the 7th, and then thank God, something work related brought me to Spain for a few days. Um, and that was the 8th. I had an event in Malaga, and the 8th was the day of the women, the El Día de la Mujer.
Yeah, Women's
Yeah.
Day.
So because the virus was already there, but all those meetings in the streets and whatever brought a lot of cases the next day. So then on the 14th, the government decided to do a lockdown. And I didn't want to go back to, I was kind of sensing something was off. So I didn't want to go back to LA. I had a flight for the 12th to go back to LA. And then I was like, maybe I shouldn't go. My parents are here. I don't know. I had an instinct that going back to LA was not a good idea. So I decided to stay, and it's the best thing I've done because I would be freaking out if I was in LA now, so far from my parents.
So season 4 started. What about season 5 now with this outbreak? Is it also halting your filming?
Yes. This is funny because for the whole last week, we couldn't say that there was a 5th season. Now, because everybody has seen 4th, obviously, we can say, no, there's not going to be 5th season because it's stupid because the way it ends. So, yes, we were programmed to start shooting, to resume shooting on middle of May. And the people in charge of Netflix have not told us otherwise. So my hallucination is that it will get pushed at least for one more month after that. But so far, they haven't told us that we don't start shooting on the 15th of May. I see it a little difficult that would happen. But we're definitely doing season 5. Yeah, that's for sure.
But, do you play around with the thought that all this halt might go on for longer? And then what will you be doing? Are you thinking about a plan B?
Oh, we don't have plan B, actors. We don't. Plan B, there's no plan B. I mean, this is not, even if we don't work in 1 year, that wouldn't be the first time. The whole 2 years that I was in LA, I didn't work a single day. I was just like pursuing my career and holding on to my savings and pushing and pushing, but nothing. A couple of things came up, but nothing really. I mean, Ana Maria knows this, so I'm not worried about that. The situation completely different from those days. Right now, I could, fortunately, I can sustain myself without working for a few years. But it's hard to think. I'm not thinking about me. I'm thinking about the people that goes from paycheck to paycheck. How are they going? Which is like most of the population. How are they going to do that? Because it's very scary to think that. I mean, I would say 50% of the population in America goes paycheck to paycheck, and how are they going to do that? It just doesn't make any sense. But
Enrique, on that note, in Spain, in your home, are you involved with any solidarity efforts yourself personally?
Well, we have, yes, we've done. There's one and you can check it out in my Instagram account. It's in the one that I have. I'm holding a paper that says Yo me corono. This is an initiative by one of the biggest, if not the biggest, mind and the number one doctor when it comes to the AIDS vaccine. It's called Dr. Buenaventura Clotet. And we are funding, and we're like, I mean, I'm part of this thing that is funding the discovery of this new vaccine for COVID-19 as well. So yeah, that's some of the things that I'm doing, and the only thing we can do right now is try to pitch in, because it's funny because I just did a campaign to collect funds for cancer discovery, and the whole campaign, it was heartbreaking because we got billboards for free and in the streets and marquesinas. I don't know how to say that in billboards. And really didn't have the impact that it could have, because there's nobody in the streets to see it. So yeah, it's kind of a bummer. But right now our focus is in the COVID-19 and coronavirus, and yeah, I would really ask people to collaborate and to pitch in. If they go www.yomecorono.com, they'll have all the information there, and they can go from, I don't know, €1 or $1 to whatever they can give.
All right. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Enrique.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was a pleasure.
You're very well.
That was it for this week's Weekend Chat. Thank you so much for joining.
That's it, everyone. Thanks for joining us. And you know that if you're not at home binging Money Heist, then you can always head over to cnnmoney.ch and check out all of our content that's there for you. YouTube also works. So anyway, take care. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.